Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, we will be discussing about the art, architecture and also the causes for decline of the Mauryas. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into today's video. So today's video is about the Mauryan art and architecture. So first we will see about the Mauryan art and architecture, and later we will see about the causes for decline of Mauryas. So the Mauryas made a remarkable contribution to art and architecture, and they introduced stone masonry on a wide scale. So the most important contribution was they introduced stone masonry on a wide scale. And if you see under the case of Ashoka, official art under Ashoka is represented by monolithic pillars. Ashoka is known for monolithic pillars on which the king's edicts were engraved. On these pillars, the king's edicts were engraved. So Ashoka is known for his monolithic pillars on which the edicts of the king was engraved. And if you see the pillar, each pillar has three parts. Each monolithic pillar has three parts. That is, first one is the prop, that is under the foundation. The prop under the foundation, that is the first part of a pillar. Then there is the shaft or the column. Shaft is the column, and then there is the capital, that is the topmost portion is called as the capital. So the prop which is under the foundation is buried in the ground, because it is under the foundation. The prop is buried in the ground. The shaft is made of a single piece of sandstone, that is a column. It is made of a single piece of sandstone, and that is the column or the shaft, and supports the capital made of another single piece of sandstone. So shaft also supports the capital. So there is a prop which is under the foundation, and then there is a shaft or the column, and then they have a capital, that is the topmost portion. So the prop will be under the foundation, that is buried in the ground. Then the shaft or a column, this is made of a single piece of sandstone. This supports the capital. It gives the support to the capital. So here capital is supported. Okay, it gives support to the capital, and then on the topmost portion there is the capital, which consists of some finely executed animal figures. Finely executed animal figures will be on the capital, and also the sacred Dharma Chakra. Also the Dharma Chakra will be there on the capital, engraved with animal sculptures and also inverted lotus. So this is how the capital is made. So a column has three parts, that is the prop, which is under the foundation, buried in the ground. Then it has a shaft or the column, which is made of a single piece of sandstone and supports the capital, which is made of another single piece of sandstone. And the capital consists of finely executed animal figures, the sacred Dharma Chakra engraved with animal sculptures, and inverted lotus. So this was one of the most important contribution of Mauryas to art and architecture, that is the monolithic pillars. If you see, one of the finest example of the pillar is the pillar at Sarnath. This Sarnath pillar, that is the finest example of the monolithic pillar built by Ashoka. This Sarnath pillar consists of four adosed lions which originally supported the Dharma Chakra. Lions supported Dharma Chakra, and these rest on an abacus. Then there is an abacus on which these rest, bearing in relief, abacus which bears in relief an elephant, horse, bull and lion. So what all are there on the capital of the Sarnath pillar? There are 4 adosed lions supported which supported a Dharma Chakra. Then these rest on an abacus, bearing in relief there is an elephant, horse, bull and lion. These all are separated by 4 small Dharma Chakra. These all are separated by 4 small Dharma Chakra. So this is how the Sarnath pillar is explained. So the Sarnath pillar is the finest example of the monolithic pillar. It consists of 4 adosed lions which originally supported a Dharma Chakra. These rest on an abacus, bearing in relief an elephant, horse, bull and lion, separated by 4 small Dharma Chakra. Now for these Mauryan pillars, 2 types of stones were used. 2 different types of stones were used for the Mauryan pillars. That is the spotted red and white sandstone. One is called as the spotted red and white sandstone. Spotted red and white sandstone. These are from regions around Mathura. And the buff colored Chunar sandstone, that is buff colored Chunar sandstone. Another type of sandstone, that is the buff colored Chunar sandstone. This was obtained from the region around Varanasi. These 2 types of stones were used for the construction of Mauryan pillars. One is spotted red and white sandstone, usually from regions around Mathura, and the buff colored Chunar sandstone obtained from the regions around Varanasi. So these were the different stones used for the construction of the Mauryan pillars. Now other than pillars, another important contribution for architecture during the time of Mauryas was rock cut architecture. Now Ashoka is credited to have built almost 84,000 stupas all over India and Afghanistan. Ashoka has constructed almost 84,000 stupas all over India and Afghanistan. The best example, if you see the examples of the stupas, the best example is the famous Sanchi stupa near Bhopal. The famous Sanchi stupa near Bhopal is the best example. Another important heritage of the Mauryas are the caves. Other than stupas, caves were also important contribution of Mauryas in architecture. These were cut out of hard refractory rocks. These caves were cut out of hard rocks which were meant to be residences for monks. Okay, these were residences for monks, and they also serve the purpose of churches and assembly halls. Okay, Buddhist churches and also assembly halls. That was the purpose of the caves. These were called as chaityas. Okay, so the caves, they were an important heritage of Mauryas. These caves were cut out of hard and refractory rocks, and they were meant to be residences for monks and also churches and assembly halls, that are called as chaityas. So that is stupas and caves were also important contribution of Mauryas in architecture. And regarding caves, Ashoka and his grandson Dasharatha built several such cave dwellings. Okay, there were many cave dwellings constructed by them. One of the important ones are the Barabar caves, Barabar hills near Bodh Gaya. Barabar Hills near Bodh Gaya is an important place where they constructed caves. There are many other places. One example is Barabar Hill near Bodh Gaya, and example of stupa is Sanchi Stupa near Bhopal. There are more than 84,000 stupas, but one example is Sanchi Stupa near Bhopal. So we learned about pillars, we learned about caves, and we also learned about stupas. Next, one more contribution are their palaces. Their palaces are also splendid examples of their contribution in architecture. According to Megasthenes, the Mauryan palaces at Patliputra, Mauryan palaces at Pataliputra, was a splendid example in the capital of Iran. So the Mauryan palaces at Pataliputra were so splendid, they were as splendid as that in the capital of Iran. Now fragments of stone pillars and stumps indicating the existence of 80-pillared hall has been discovered. So there were many remains. And fragments indicating the existence of an 80-pillared hall. 80-pillared hall have been discovered in Kumrahar on the outskirts of modern Patna. Okay, so there are fragments of stone pillars and stumps that indicates the existence of 80-pillared hall. This has been discovered at Kumrahar on the outskirts of modern Patna. Now the Mauryans used wood mainly for construction. That is, the Mauryan wooden palace survived at least till the end of 4th century AD. Why? Because during that time Fahian, he visited India and he found it so astounding that he considered these palaces as the work of spirits. So it was so heavenly that he felt that it was the work of spirits. That much beautiful the palaces were. So the Mauryan wooden palace must have survived at least till the end of 4th century. That time when Fahian visited India, he found it so astounding that he considered it work of spirits. So that much was the beauty of the palaces constructed during the Mauryan time. So let us just go through the points which we have studied till now. Mauryan art and architecture. The Mauryas made a remarkable contribution to art and architecture and introduced stone masonry on a wide scale. Official art under Ashoka is represented by the monolithic pillars on which the king's edicts were engraved. Each pillar has 3 parts: the prop under the foundation, the shaft or column, and the capital. The prop is buried in the ground. The shaft, made of a single piece of sandstone, supports the capital made of another single piece of sandstone. The capital consists of some finely executed animal figures, the sacred Dharmachakra symbol engraved with animal sculptures, and the inverted lotus. The finest example is that of Sarnath. It consisted of 4 adosed lions which originally supported a Dharmachakra. These rest on an abacus bearing in relief an elephant, horse, bull and lion, separated by 4 small Dharmachakra. 2 types of stones were used for Mauryan pillars: the spotted red and white sandstone from region around Mathura and the buff-colored Chunar sandstone obtained from the region around Varanasi. Rock-cut architecture. Ashoka is credited with building 84,000 stupas all over India and Afghanistan. The best example of these is the famous stupa at Sanchi near Bhopal. Another important heritage of the Mauryas are the caves cut out of hard and refractory rocks which were meant to be residences for monks and also serve the purpose of churches and assembly halls, chaityas. Ashoka and his grandson Dasaratha built several such cave dwellings, Barabar Hill near Bodh Gaya. Palaces. Megasthenes states that Mauryan palace at Patliputra was as splendid as that in the capital of Iran. Fragments of stone pillars and stumps indicating the existence of 80-pillared hall, have been discovered at Kumrahar on the outskirts of modern Patna. The Mauryan wooden palace survived till at least the end of 4th century AD, when Fahian visited India and found it so astounding that he considered it work of spirits. Now, regarding the next contribution, we have the terracotta objects. Terracotta objects. No less important is a group of terracotta which have been found at several Mauryan sites. Many terracotta objects have been discovered in different Mauryan sites during archaeological excavation, and these usually were made from molds. Okay, made from molds. The terracotta objects which they have found discovered during these archaeological excavation has been mostly made from molds. The tradition of making mother goddess in clay, which goes back to prehistoric period, is revealed by the discovery of these objects at Mauryan level. So there has been making of the images of mother goddess in clay that goes back to the prehistoric period. That is revealed by the discovery of these objects. Now, terracotta was also used for making toys, and these consisted mainly of wheeled animals. Toys mostly consisted of wheeled animals. So all these have been discovered during the archaeological excavation of Mauryan sites. So all these were the contribution of Mauryas to art and architecture. Now let us go to the next topic, that is causes for the decline of Mauryas. Causes for the decline. Towards the end of Ashoka's reign, towards the end of Ashoka's reign towards the end, the grip over imperial organization became weak. His grip over the imperial organization started to become weak. The Mauryan Empire slowly began to decline with the death of Ashoka, and finally, with the death of Ashoka, the Mauryan Empire slowly began to decline, that is 232 BC. It began to decline, and after that it broke up. Now, many historians have told many causes for the decline of the Mauryan Empire. Now, let us just go through some of the causes for the decline. One of the more obvious reasons was that there was weak successors after Ashoka. Weak successors after Ashoka. That was considered as an important cause for the decline of the Mauryan Empire. A further and immediate cause was the partition of the empire. Another cause can be the partition of the empire. The empire was divided into two, and in the eastern part of the empire under Dasaratha, and the western part was under Kunala. And this partition distracted the various services. You naturally know that with partition, the empire slowly became weak, and it distorted many or distracted various services, and that also led to the decline of the Mauryan Empire. The pro-Buddhist policies of Ashoka and the pro-Jaina policies of his successors. What happened with these? This alienated the Brahmanas. This caused a problem to the Brahmanas. That is, the pro-Buddhist policy of Ashoka. We know that after Kalinga War, Ashoka was fully into Buddhism, and the pro-Jaina policy of his successors, these two things alienated the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas had a problem with this, and this resulted in the revolt of Pushyamitra. Pushyamitra, the founder of Shunga dynasty, he was always supporting the Brahmanas, and he revolted because of the pro-Buddhist policy of Ashoka and pro-Jaina policy of his successors. After that, he supported the Brahmanas because Brahmanas were already alienated because of these policies. So that also must have been a problem which caused the decline of the Mauryan Empire, because there was no support from the Brahmanas. And again, the anti-sacrifice attitude of the religion of Buddhism, and this was adopted by Ashoka. The anti-sacrifice attitude was adopted by Ashoka. This directly adversely affected the income of Brahmanas, and that is why Brahmanas were again alienated or irritated by this policy of Ashoka. Brahmanas, the anti-sacrifice attitude of Buddhism, which was adopted by Ashoka, adversely affected the income of Brahmanas. So all these must have been another cause for the decline of Mauryas. Ashoka again, because of his inclination towards Buddhism, Ashoka emphasized non-violence. His emphasis on non-violence led to the weakening of the military strength, empire's military strength. So all these causes, different historians have put forward all these causes, but every causes are not supported by everyone. But we are just discussing the different causes put forth by different historians. Ashoka's policy of non-violence led to the weakening of the empire and its military strength. Another reason put forward by some historians that there was a considerable pressure on Mauryan economy. Pressure on economy also must have been a cause for the decline of Mauryas. And the pressure of Mauryan economy, this was under the later rulers, and this pressure led to heavy taxation. This pressure on the economy led to heavy taxation. The pressure on Mauryan economy led to heavy taxation. And how did pressure come on the economy? The enormous expenditure on army. One was the expenditure on army. This reason will contradict the reason which we studied here, but it is put forth by different historians. So the enormous expenditure on the army and the payment to the bureaucracy. Created financial crisis in Mauryan Empire. This all created financial crisis. When financial crisis came, these led to heavy taxation. And this must have been another cause for the decline of Mauryan Empire. That is, the pressure on economy under the later rulers led to heavy taxation. And the reason for pressure on economy, the enormous expenditure on army and the payment to bureaucracy, created financial crisis in the Mauryan Empire. So that also became another reason. Now, the organization of administration and the conception of the state or the nation were of great significance in the cause of the decline. The conception of the state, all these were were of great significance in the decline of, or the causes for decline of the Mauryas. Why? Because the Mauryan administration was of extremely centralized character. The Mauryan administration was of an extremely centralized character, which necessitated a king with a lot of ability. Centralized character means the king should have a lot of ability. See, as we said, the administration and the conception of state had a great role in the decline of, in the causes for decline of the empire. In administration, the Mauryan Empire was of extremely centralized character. which means the king should have a considerable personal ability. But the weakening of the king, the weakening of the king, or the central control, we can say central control, led automatically to the weak administration. If the king is weak, means the administration is weak. So if the administration is weak, naturally it will lead to the decline of the empire. So when the king became weak, the administration became weak, and it naturally led to the decline of the empire. So that was another cause for the decline of Mauryan Empire, because we studied after Ashoka, there was no strong rulers. With the death of Ashoka, the uneven quality of his successors, after the death of Ashoka's death, after that there was uneven quality of his successors. Okay, and there was a weakening of the central, particularly after the division of empire. So this led to the decline of the Mauryan Empire. Then the Mauryan state derived its revenue from taxing a variety of resources. Now Mauryan state its revenue was received from taxing of resources, taxes from resources. That was the main source of revenue, and which would have to grow and expand. These resources should have to grow and expand. If they grow and expand only, they will be able to pay the taxes, so that the administrative apparatus could be maintained. But there was no attempt to expand the revenue potential. So what happened was, there was no attempt to expand these resources or these revenue potential. There was no attempt to restructure the resources. There was nothing done. So there was nothing done after Ashoka's death. There was no attempt to expand the resources, no attempt to restructure the resources, and the spread of material culture of the Gangetic Basin, of the Gangetic Basin to the outlying areas led to the formation of new kingdoms. There was many new kingdoms which formed because of the spread of the material culture of Gangetic Basin to outlying areas. So this also was another reason for the decline of the Mauryan Empire. So because of all these reasons, we can say that slowly, stage by stage, the Mauryan Empire came to an end. So let us see the points which we have studied till now. Terracotta objects. No less important is a group of terracotta which have been found at several Mauryan sites during archaeological excavation. These are usually made from molds. The tradition of making Mother Goddess in clay, which goes back to the prehistoric period, is revealed by the discovery of these objects at Mauryan levels. Terracotta was also used for making toys, and these consist mainly of wheeled animals. Causes for the decline of the Mauryas. Towards the end of his reign, Ashoka's grip over the imperial organization became weak. The Mauryan Empire began to decline with the death of Ashoka in 232 BC, soon after it broke up. Some of the causes for the decline of the Mauryan Empire are discussed below. One of the more obvious reasons for the decline was a succession of weak kings after Ashoka. A further and immediate cause was the partition of the empire into two, the eastern part under Dasaratha and western part under Kunala. This partition of the empire distracted the various services. The pro-Buddhist policies of Ashoka and pro-Jaina policies of his successors alienated the Brahmanas and resulted in the revolt of Pushyamitra, the founder of Shunga dynasty. The anti-sacrifice attitude of Buddhism adopted by Ashoka adversely affected the income of Brahmanas. Ashoka's emphasis on non-violence also led to the weakening of the empire and its military strength. Another reason put forward by some historians is that there was considerable pressure on the Mauryan economy under the later rulers, leading to heavy taxation. The enormous expenditure on the army and payment to the bureaucracy created a financial crisis for the Mauryan Empire. The organization of administration and the conception of state or nation were of great significance in the causes for the decline of the Mauryas. The Mauryan administration was of an extremely centralized character, which necessitated a king of considerable personal ability. Weakening of the central control led automatically to a weakening of administration. With the death of Ashoka and the uneven quality of his successors, there was a weakening at the center, particularly after the division of the empire. The Mauryan state derived its revenue from taxing a variety of resources which would have to grow and expand so that the administrative apparatus of the state would be maintained. They made no attempt to expand the revenue potential or the restructure and reorganize the resources. The spread of material culture of the Gangetic basin to the outlying areas led to the formation of new kingdoms. So all these were the causes for the decline of the Mauryas. So I hope you have understood all the points very clearly. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask in the comment section. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and shares will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the coming video. Thank you for watching.